Welcome to the Scorezle podcast, where athletes from college stars to pros share their secrets. We bring you and your child's game the tips, tricks, and insider pointers to level up and unlock the magic within. Today, we're joined by professional baseball player Jose Ledesma. He's here to share his journey from the inner city to the pro leagues, how he overcame the odds, and his passion for giving back to his community. He'll also give us insights on how to improve as a pitcher and the life lessons baseball has taught him on and off the field. You won't want to miss this inspiring episode.
Look, this that Scorezle magic, nothing average. If you can dream it, then you can have it. On and off the field, you know the deal. Keep your head in the game and you rise for real. Go.
Welcome to the Scorezle podcast. This is the show where we explore the journey of incredible athletes, inspiring the next generation to achieve greatness on and off the field. Today, we are excited to welcome a special guest, Jose Ledesma. Jose is a 24-year-old professional baseball player. He grew up in New Jersey, where he was able to nurture his love for baseball and follow his dream of getting to a college education while playing the game he loves of baseball. He was fortunate enough to achieve his undergrad studies in sports administration and a master's degree in international business. After college, Jose had the privilege of continuing his playing career at the professional level and has been doing so since 2022. Jose has a deep sense of purpose to give back to his community and inspire those for the inner city that anything is possible no matter where you come from. So, Jose, welcome to the show.
How are you, Sean and Kenny? Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. So again, we focus in on youth sports and the love for baseball. So that's where we have to start. Your early days, Jose, when did you pick up the baseball for the first time, and what made you realize that this is the sport for you?
I had to be 4 years old. 4 years old, I started playing formally in a formal league. I believe just before that, I started hanging on the couch, watching baseball games with my dad. I kind of nurtured the love for the game there. Growing up in a Dominican household, baseball is our primary sport. So my dad teaching me all about the game of baseball and showing me all the great Dominican players who were playing back then and who are playing now. So it really inspired me to, formulate that love for the game and one day hopefully be in their shoes.
That's amazing, Jose. Now, whether it's the Dominican or you growing up in the New Jersey area, I have to follow up with that. Like, what role did your community play in shaping your love for baseball and the determination to succeed?
So, growing up in a majority of minority community, I grew up around a lot of Latino, Dominican, Puerto Ricans. So they share the same love for baseball as me. So, going to school, talking about the game, or in our recreational league, everybody going at it. We're on different teams, we got a competitive league. So, just having that competitive drive to want to beat my friend in a playoff game in our recreational league and then teaming up with him in the summer to play on our travel league. So, being around those kind of opportunities kind of just continue to garner that love for baseball. And it was just a uphill trend, growing around that game.
That's great, Jose. And I know you're really passionate around inner city challenges and the importance of information to youth around sports. And I was hoping you could tell us a little bit more about your experience growing up and how access to information or the lack of it impacted your journey as an athlete.
So growing up in the inner city, you don't have the privilege of the best resources. You don't have the best coaches. You might not even have the equipment you need to go out there and perform at the highest level. So for the majority of my childhood, I grew up in the inner city. When I turned 14, I had the privilege of playing on a club team that was about 20 minutes off the highway. And I was more of a suburban community where they had everything. So that's where I was kind of able to become aware of the disparity in the inner city and other communities. So I went off there. I played there for 2 years. All my friends continued to play in my city, Passaic, New Jersey. And they would come up to me and they're like, wow, we're not getting to travel this far for this tournament, or we don't have our last names on the back of our jerseys, or, oh, that's a cool helmet. So that experience kind of made me aware of, wow, like I'm very privileged that I'm able to experience this. But then I look back and I'm like, my friends, the people who I grew up with, they're not able to experience the things that I'm experiencing. And I feel like that's delaying their progress. That's delaying their development in this game.
Not only is that challenging for that youth athlete, but it's also disappointing to hear. Jose, for our young athletes and parents listening, what are some steps you think we can take to make sure more kids in underserved communities have the tools, the information that they need to succeed, both on and off the field?
I would say, keeping it loose, not putting too much pressure on your kid. I feel like that was a big thing. I grew up, like I said, in a baseball household, but my parents, they really value education more than baseball. Growing up, I constantly heard, hey, we want you to get an education. We don't care if you make it to the big leagues or not. Like, if you're not getting good grades, you're not even going to get to play the game that you love. So I feel like emphasizing the more sustainable things in life, like a good person, working hard, getting good grades, those things are going to translate on the field. Because on the field, when you get to that's, you're going to have to, show your discipline or show your work ethic. So if you're able to foster that every day for 182 days of school, you're going to go out to the field and it's going to replicate as well. So I would say for parents, keep it light. Don't put too much pressure on your kid because they're going to grow. They're not going to love the game and they're going to think of it as a job. You have to look at the game as a platform for them to get some skills that are going to later in life, So the discipline to go to practice, and work hard and try to be the best, that's going to translate to them going to college and wanting to have a high GPA. They want to stand out.
Jose, that was fantastic advice, not to put too much pressure on your kiddo, right? But with that, there come challenges in a journey. And I want you to talk about as you moved into high school and then to college and then to the pros, you were moving up the ranks and playing ball at different levels. Like, what's the toughest challenge you faced in that transition level to level?
The level of preparation that it takes at each level. So the way that you have to prepare at high school is different from the level that you have to prepare in college. And the level you have to prepare for the pro level is different from the level that you have to prepare in college as well. So I would say at each level, the level of preparation, the level of mental toughness that it took was just so much greater. So I guess that would be something else too, like fostering the mental toughness in your kid, instilling that they're not always going to have a good game, or when they have a good game, it's good to stay even keeled, not get too excited, or if they have a bad game, not getting too down. So that's probably the biggest thing I've learned throughout this journey is that it's more mental than physical. It's easy to go to the gym or go to practice or go to the game. But how about when you have 2 games in a row where things don't go your way? Like, how is your mental gonna withhold that? Are you gonna be able to keep going, or are you just gonna give up? And the greats that continue to play this game for years, they're able to kind of just stay on that even kill line.
Jose, that's excellent. And again, I love the game of baseball, and it teaches you so many life lessons. That's the question is, by playing baseball this long and having a passion and a love for the game, like, what are some important things that you learned in the game that you apply to your personal life, your day-to-day life, that a young athlete would like to hear from you?
Really take a moment and understand what's happening to you. Don't react to whatever's happening to you. So if you get, if something negative happens to you, a lot of times you don't need to react negatively. You can turn a negative into a positive. So let's say I'm pitching today and somebody hits a home run. If I react instantly to that situation, I may get mad, throw a tantrum on the mound, change my body language in a negative way. Instead, you can look at that and that event, you gave up a home run. You could think, wow, I threw this guy a fastball down the middle. What other pitch could I have thrown him for that result not to be had? So just looking at things with a more calm demeanor, because it's going to allow you to think a lot more logically, and everything's going to make sense. You're not going to be just so quick to react to certain situations.
Jose, that's a great insight. And again, going back, Seth and I are both dads of multiple children. You brought up the importance of turning a negative into a positive, mental toughness, which are all extremely important To all the fathers out there, Jose, any tips or insight as to what we can do to help encourage that mental toughness, help our children, and anything that we should do to stay away from things that could be damaging to those children?
Encouraging them to fail. Because like I said, baseball in life, you're going to have bad days. Baseball, you're going to fail. So you almost want to push them towards that adversity so they kind of notice that it's not as bad as they thought. If they go 0 for 4 or 4 Ks, making them aware that they might have a game tomorrow and they're going to go 4 for 4. So that 0 for 4 isn't as detrimental as they thought it was. So being able to understand that baseball is not life or death, like there's more to life than just baseball, it's going to help them go through that adversity and not be derailed if they have a bad game, or even if they have like a bad month or a bad tournament. They're going to understand that I just have to keep working hard. I can look at what the things that I'm doing wrong and I can learn from these things. And next time I'm out there, I'm going to be a lot better.
Great insight. Thanks for that, Jose. And thinking about your journey, your career, obviously you're a great athlete and we all have life lessons. We all learn from the past. But if you could go back in time and speak to your younger self, what advice would you give to the kid who is just starting out in baseball, maybe not at 4 years old, but you were a little older? Is there any advice that you would give to yourself back then?
I would just say don't lose the enjoyment in the game. Don't ever, because I know now on social media, they're doing rankings for like 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, and that'll almost derail you. You're like, oh man, how come this kid is top 10 ranked and I'm not? So, not letting that get to your head and not just falling in love with the process. It's going to be a long process, whether you want to play in high school or college or professionally. Everything is going to be a process. So just falling in love with the steps that it takes to get there and embracing the challenges and loving everything that comes with it. So I would say if I was 12 years old, I'd just tell myself, expect that bad days are going to come, but just have fun with it. And eventually good days are going to be resolved.
Our next section is actually called Kids Corner.
As you're my Tips Corner, here we go. Ask a pro, learn and grow. Tips and tricks from the best. Get ready, put skills to the test.
All right, Jose, we've got some rapid questions for you. So these are quick, rapid answers from you. Are you ready, sir?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay. First one, I think your answer better be in the Dominican, but what was your favorite baseball player growing up?
Jose Reyes.
Second favorite baseball player?
I would say Pedro Martinez.
I like it. All right, does your jersey number represent anything to you?
It was my first number that they randomly gave me. My first year ever playing baseball.
And then you always had it since then?
Well, I had a couple numbers in between, but that was my first number, and then that's been my number in professional baseball.
All right, talk to our 7 to 11-year-olds. I'm a young, aspiring baseball player. Like, what are the best drills for pitchers that are just starting out? What could I do as a young athlete if I want to be a pitcher?
I would say 1, activate their mirror neurons, watch a lot of Major League Baseball games and just key in on pitchers and then just try to replicate it. Like something I like to do, I currently coach kids as well too, so on the side. So I'll get a kid, and I've worked with kids as young as 6, 7 years old. I'll get them on the mound. I'll explain to them, pitching is all about steps. So I'll tell them, leg up, balance. Then they'll stride down the mound. I'll emphasize staying back on their back leg and keeping their front arm nice and closed. And then the last one is just finishing all the motion towards home plate. That's nice and simple, and it's easy to repeat.
That's great. Thanks for the advice. My 7-year-old just is starting his journey in pitching, so I will make sure that he listens. So thanks, Jose.
No worries.
So at Scorezle, Jose, we celebrate athletes who embody values like adversity that you talked about before, resilience, leadership, and teamwork. So just curious, how do these values resonate with you personally? And why do you think they're so important, both in sports and in life?
I would just say it just makes you a well-rounded human. When you go on a journey in professional sports or any sport, by the matter, you really enhance some skills that aren't easily obtained through a regular person who just goes to school regularly, or it takes a lot more time and a lot more concentration. Like in baseball, you're able to kind of exercise your work ethic, your dedication, your discipline, your intrinsic motivation. So those things have allowed me, to translate from the baseball field to the academic center. As you mentioned earlier, like I was fortunate enough to get 2 degrees. If it wasn't for baseball, it would have been a lot tougher for me to find that value in my education. But knowing that I had to get good grades in order to get on the field, it motivated me to get good grades. So then I can get on the field, and ultimately the reward was so much greater than I could ever imagine.
That's great. Thanks, Jose. And right now we're about to pivot to something extremely fun and exciting for you. We love to celebrate the incredible stories of athletes, and we love to celebrate the stories of those athletes such as yourself. So we've put together something very special for you, a custom Scorezle card. And we did that to honor your journey and the values that you represent, helping those in inner cities and those without access or information. So we'd love to welcome you to the Scorezle family, and I'll pull up that card for you in just a moment to see if you approve it. So give me 1 second here.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Oh, I like that. Haha.
All right, here you go. No hitter, Jose. What are your thoughts, Jose?
That's awesome. That's awesome. I like that. I've never seen myself in cartoon versions. I would have pictured it just like that. Looks awesome.
Yeah, you got it. From growing up in New Jersey to becoming a professional athlete, this card symbolizes the dedication, hard work, and passion that have shaped your story. It's such an honor, Jose, to welcome you to the Scorezle family, where you inspire young athletes to dream big and believe in themselves just like you've done.
Appreciate you guys.
That's awesome. All right. So Jose, you've been a fantastic guest on the show today, but we've got to hear from you. Like, what's next for Jose? Like, any exciting projects or plans or your next steps that our listeners should be looking out for?
So next steps, I'm actually working on a mentorship program in my city. I'm trying to connect people who have gone through the school systems, athletes, former athletes, or people who have great jobs, or I just want to connect those people to students, primarily sophomore to junior students in the high school in my city. I just want them to be aware of the limitless possibilities in the world. So I'm looking to get that in front of the Board of Education and hopefully have that by next year. And that's probably the biggest thing I've been working on, trying to put all the details together so I can present this idea that I feel like would dramatically change the trend in the city and have a lot more Jose Ledesmas come out of it.
That's great, Jose. And as you're working on this, as your journey continues to move forward, if there's ever anything that we could do for you or anything that we could share, please send the information our way. We'd love to share with our audience. We respect and appreciate everything you're doing.
Awesome. Kenny, appreciate you. Appreciate you so much. Seth, thank you guys so much. I really enjoy being on here and what you guys stand for. It's super important that you guys are doing this because I feel like not enough information is being spread on that level as far as what could work for a youth athlete and help them succeed. And not just succeed, but have fun in the process,
Yeah, so important. That's great. Thanks, Jose.
Jose, thanks so much for being on the program, and welcome to the Scorezle family.
Awesome.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Jose, thank you for sharing your incredible story and valuable lessons with us today. Your drive to give back and help the next generation of athletes is truly inspiring. To our listeners, remember, anything is possible. Stay focused, work hard, and believe in yourself. And don't forget to collect Jose's custom Scorezle card, celebrating his leadership.
Oh yeah, yeah. Striking them out and leading the way. Oh yeah, yeah. Pitching like a pro every single day. Hey, hey. With tips and pointers, he's here to stay. Hey, hey. To the pros, he's making it clear. Work hard. stay focused, never show fear. What this boy is learning, yes, so clear. Take two for tips from a pro, you will see. No hitter Jose is the one to be. With every pitch, he's got the flow. Check out his card, it's Scorezle. Let's go, let's go. Close.